Do you know what day it is? It's exactly 3 months since I tried to cancel my Postfly subscription and only managed to postpone it for a full 3-month billing cycle and then forgot about it. I got a mystery package in the door. So let's do another review. The first 3 months wasn't worth it, but maybe if we take it box by box, the flies will have increased in quality and everything will be better. This is the Salmon and Steelhead box. Should come in handy. The rivers are thawing out. Just gotta wait for that initial runoff and I'll be out there. So hopefully there's some good stuff in here and we're gonna look at it together. So first, same package. It's actually a pretty fun box to get in the mail. You know, I like that it comes in this cool package and it feels quality. You open it up and the first thing you get is their fly guide. It's their little newspaper they put out. It's got all the flies that you're going to get for all the different boxes, so you can see if you want to change to a different box. Maybe I'll read you an article from that. The next thing you get is this lanyard, which I actually like, because the lanyard that I have for my bag is actually used for kayak fishing, and it's too long. You know, it's ridiculous. So you compare it to this one, and that's pretty great. I'll probably use this. I'm pretty excited to use that. I'll be putting it on these pliers here, and hopefully upgrading my pliers and getting better pliers eventually, because I don't like these ones. I don't like pliers that stay sprung open, or spring-loaded open. You get some leader. It's a 9-foot tapered leader, and it's 10-pound test. Doesn't tell me what X it is, but maybe it's just straight up 10-pound. I can probably use that. I'll probably use that for bass and pike, though. I don't think I'll be using that for salmon in our area. You don't have to go pretty light, pretty finicky fish. You get a great sticker. Man, who's that guy that's on HBO? And does he actually fly fish? I'll look it up. And now, for what you're waiting for, the true value. This is what makes it the fly box. All right, you got the flies, and here they are. Now I'm gonna do a montage here. It's famous. It's called the sweet potato flyby. You've probably seen it before. I have many imitators, often imitated, but never replicated, let me tell you. Anyway, you got 2 clouds of minnows, a couple made up things. This one I really like. We'll take these out here. So I really like this fly right here. This to me looks like a real good bait fish imitation. Especially in my area, we've got a lot of pumpkin seed, a lot of bluegill, you know, not much shad. So almost everything is going to have this greeny, this green pumpkin / orange color. It could also, you know, it's got a little bit of flash in it. I really like this one. I'm hoping to use it. Now you'll notice in here, I have moved these flies around a little bit, so I've played with them. But you can see all these fibers are already coming out. And I mean, I took these flies in and out twice. That's it. And I'm already losing fibers. My issue with Postfly is that the flies just aren't very quality. I mean, it's just a couple wraps here. There's no cement. There's nothing to hold them together. The materials are all synthetic, and they don't feel good. This feels really cheap. It feels like a wig that you'd get from a store. And look, I mean, everything's splaying out. I mean, this is already disconnected. They're okay, but they're definitely not great. They could really improve their fly quality, especially for the prices they say they're worth. I mean, they say this is worth a couple bucks. This, you know, they say there's $20 in flies alone. I mean, maybe if you paid some guy in England to tie these, or Canada or Alaska or something, or, you know, some famous fly tyer, but I don't see it. Without further ado, I give you the sweet potato flyby. now because I think you'd be interested in this, and it's actually a pretty good article for the winter and getting into fly fishing and fly tying. I don't know a whole lot about fly fishing, and I know a whole lot less about fly tying, but what I have read, this is very solid advice, and it's good information. So I'm going to read this to you. By Spencer Duran. Winter is the best time of year to get started with fly tying. Fewer fishing opportunities means less temptation to leave the tying bench for just a few hours on the river. If you've never tied flies, though, getting started is intimidating. What materials and gear do you need, and what can you easily go without? In many ways, tying flies is a lot like learning to fly fish. Hard and confusing and full of nerdy guys with way too much information and time on their hands. What you absolutely need. I've fly fished my entire life, and I've heard arguments about fishing the spawn since I can remember. The pointing and shouting matches always come back to the same place. Staying off the reds. A red is nothing more than a small bowl-shaped depression in a stream bed. It's formed by trout using their big tail fins to get rid of moss, large rocks, and anything else that might prohibit trout eggs from nesting safely at the bottom of the river. There's an old saying that goes something like this. Anglers use new and different flies exponentially as they learn the sport, stuffing dozens of boxes of patterns they don't remember buying. After a few years, though, they realize they fish about a dozen or so flies and stick to tying those bugs. From personal experience, I'll tell you that's true. When I started fishing, I bought flies just to have them. I didn't take the time to look at a fly and ask myself if it was tied to catch fish or fish 'em in. As my good buddy and world champion angler for Fly Fishing Team USA, Lance Egan says, you have to tie some flies with bin appeal. That said, the flies you fish are likely the same that you'll find in my box. Caddis, hare's ears, pheasant tails, Frenchies, zebra midges, black woolly buggers, and the venerable parachute Adams. Those flies will work anywhere in the country, if not most of North America. And to tie them, you need just a few items. Okay, he's going to go into the items here. Let's see. Let's see if it's marketing or truth. These supplies will easily set you up to tie at least 12 dozen flies. If you've tied to 4 or learned quickly, you can stretch that to 20 dozen, no problem. A tying vise. For years I used one my grandpa used throughout most of the 60s. I just recently upgraded, and only then because the jaws on that old vise were finally shot. A whip finish tool, tying cement, ceramic bobbin, tying scissors, black, brown, gray, green, and red Ultra UTC 70 denier tying thread. At a whopping $1.50-ish a spool, you can grab 10 of these without breaking the bank. If I had to downsize all of my thread to one size and color though, it'd be the 5 listed here. Let's read that again. If I had to downsize all of my thread to one size and color though, it'd be the 5 listed here. I'm going to chew on that for a while. I don't think I understand it. This might be a little fancy for me. If you want to spend a bit more, 50 denier Semper Fly, that's pretty funny, Nano Silk is worth the investment. Best thread I've ever used. Elk hair. Man, how am I going to catch an elk and get it in for a haircut? Pheasant tails. You mean I got to kill a pheasant to tie a fly? Medium and small UTC copper and silver wire. Is that made from a college? Again, 150-ish per spool. Black strung marabou. Is that? I wonder if that's part of a male caribou. I don't know. Umpqua, TMC, TMCO, 101 and 100 hooks, sizes 8 to 18. The TMC, TMCO hooks are a bit more expensive than the cheaper options like Mustad, but I've never once had a TMCO hook break or straighten out on me. They're worth the extra cost. Half saddle of Metz or Whiting, grizzly hackle. Ah, that's a bird. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Half saddle of Metz or Whiting, brown hackle. Black bugger hackle. Doesn't matter the brand. Brown, gray, pale yellow, and orange dubbing. 2.0, 2.1, and 2.3 millimeter brass beads. That's tiny if you measure in freedom units. White Antron yarn. What patterns should I start with? The zebra mid should be your first fly. It's simple, quick, and catches fish. It's pretty hard to mess up this trusty pattern. Then I'd move on to the elk hair, caddis, and Frenchie. Throw in a pheasant tail and a parachute Adams, and you have a box of dries and nymphs that'll catch fish more often than not. Well, I need that help. I only catch sticks. Watch a ton of tying videos. I learned to tie from Jack Dennis's book, Great Western Trout Flies, Volume 2. Volume 1 was terrible. Learning to tie from black and white photos. They didn't have photos in Volume 1. It was just written word. It was awful. Anyway, learning to tie from black and white photos isn't as easy as watching the stellar tying videos from Tight Line Video. I like his videos. He's got good videos. The tutorials are simple, easy to follow, and the flies are patterns that actually work. Winter is a great time to start tying. With the extra time winter provides and the desire to do something fly fishing related when it's too cold to go outside to fish for most folks, this is the perfect time of the year to hone your skills and start catching trout on the flies. You've tied yourself. Well, if there's no ice, just toughen up. Go fish. Is the Postfly box worth it this month? Remember, I said it wasn't worth the other 3 months. No, it's not. But it's fun to get, and that was a decent article, Mr. Durant. I agreed. I know I poked some fun at you, but I enjoyed it, and I think you took a very practical approach on fly tying, and that will help people get into fly tying and not think they have to put $600 into tools before they can even, do anything.